Welcome to the overview of the SST process. Hopefully after viewing this presentation, you'll have a better understanding of when and how to refer a student who you have academic or behavior concerns. Before you begin, let's see if you know these often used acronyms. It can be quite confusing if you don't know what each means. IST is Instructional Support Teacher. That's me, Mrs. Dilworth. SST stands for Student Support Team. We're essentially the gatekeepers to the IEP team and consist of many different people, including those listed. Together, we work to determine various interventions and services that could possibly help a student to be more successful. We also collect data from these interventions and services to possibly include if a referral to IEP team is needed. IEP is Individualized Education Plan. Essentially, students that qualify for this are then receiving special education services. This team often includes Mrs. Buckheit, a special education teacher, a speech pathologist, school psychologist, etc. Finally, the last acronym you should know is SSP. This stands for Student Support Plan. This is a plan designed at Student Support Team, which includes measurable goals and includes various interventions being put in place to help a student reach their goal. We'll talk about more on this plan later. What are the functions or roles of SST? SST receives referrals for many different concerns, and we accept referrals not only from teachers, but also parents, administrators, doctors, and various school committees such as the behavior team and the I team. The SST is connected in some way to each one of these teams and often will communicate with these teams before holding a meeting. You have a student you're concerned about, so what should you do? First, you should review the student's cumulative file in the main office. You can read teacher comments on previous report cards, see if there are any issues going on at home, such as custody papers or shared domicile documents. You can also see if they've been referred before to SST and what the team decided. You should discuss your concerns with other teachers on your team. They are often your best source for ideas because they've probably been in the same situation you are. It is very important that you meet with the parents prior to writing an SST referral. Share your concerns and discuss what SST is. Parents should never be surprised when they get an invitation to participate in an upcoming SST meeting. Sometimes that is all that's needed for a parent to start taking action and realize the seriousness of the situation. Before making a referral, you should attempt interventions for 6 to 8 weeks. It takes several weeks for interventions to start taking effect, and this allows lots of time for data collection. This includes behavior charts and small group intervention data too. Listed are various types of data you can collect depending on whether your concerns are academic or work completion. Behavior data takes a little bit more effort, but still only takes a minute of your time. Consider tallies or dropping paper clips in a container to record how often a behavior occurs. Behavior charts, when kept, also allow for easy data collection. Here are some tips when using a behavior chart. We highly recommend that the chart only focuses on positive behavior. When doing a behavior chart, avoid putting sad faces and having charts covered with red marker or X's. We also highly recommend that you include the parents in your behavior chart plan, explaining to them the process and sending it home daily so they can discuss with their child. Many teachers find it helpful to create a behavior chart folder for that one student. All the previous charts are kept in the folder, and the folder goes home and is returned each day. This makes it very easy to figure out the data when all the charts are in one place. Charts should only have 1 or 2 behavior goals depending on their age. Have the goals specifically written out on their chart. That way both the parent and the student are aware. When a child has several goals, focus on the most crucial one first that you would like to see accomplished. It could be a safety goal like staying in the classroom or keeping hands and feet to themselves. When deciding on a specific goal target number for rewarding students, start with low goals that you know are achievable for the student. It is important that they have the opportunity to experience the reward. As the child becomes more successful, you can slowly raise the goal. Ms. Dracos in first grade uses the 3-day rule. If a student successfully reaches their goal 3 days in a row, then the goal is raised by 1. If a student goes several days without reaching their goal, it may mean the goal is set too high and needs to be lowered. Depending on the age of your child, you can have a goal for the day, which is usually recommended for intermediate, or you can break it down into the morning and afternoon and have a goal for each. Select a time period such as every 30 minutes. Times can vary. If the student is able to successfully meet his behavior goal during that period, he and she gets to color in something on his chart. If he or she is unsuccessful, then the chart is not mentioned and nothing is colored in, nor is it marked off with a sad face or an X. I have various types of positive behavior charts in my office for both primary and intermediate students. I also have a list of reward ideas you can use if you need suggestions. Before referring to SST, think about touching base with these numerous resources that are available. They can often provide ideas and suggestions for interventions to try. The more strategies you try before coming to SST, the better, especially if you bring data. We can get a lot more accomplished. Referrals can be found on the Share Drive under SST and then Referrals. They're also on the School Wiki under SST 2015-2016. There is a primary and an intermediate referral. Please fill out digitally and email to me. They must be filled out digitally because they are then downloaded into the SST system. Once I receive the referral, a screening is conducted. Not all students qualify for the SST process. Once the SST process begins, often the team will develop a student support plan. This is developed for students who did not respond to the interventions already implemented by the classroom teacher. This plan includes 1 or 2 realistic measurable goals with various interventions that will be implemented to help them meet their goals. The team will allow 8 to 10 weeks for the plan to have an effect, and then we'll meet again to determine if progress was made. Interventions and supports listed on this plan are not implemented during the statewide testing such as PARCC. Another plan that can be created at the SST level is a 504 plan. Students are eligible for this plan have a documented impairment. Often we need a diagnosis or documentation from a child's doctor. Students with diabetes, ADHD, or a physical impairment will often have a 504 plan. These students still receive the general education curriculum, but are guaranteed various accommodations and interventions that are also implemented during statewide testing. 504 plans are reviewed yearly and change as needed. One last plan that is created at the SST level is a behavior intervention plan, or a BIP. This is for students that are chronic behavior problems and a student support plan has not been effective. Oftentimes, an emotional disability is suspected. In order to create this behavior intervention plan, we need to implement a functional behavior assessment, or an FBA. We need a parent permission in order to implement this. Once the behavior intervention plan is created, it is distributed to all staff members that work with this child. Problem solving occurs at every tier. Begin setting measurable goals, implementing interventions, and maintaining documentation immediately. A referral may be made to the student support team when concerns cannot be resolved through database problem solving at the grade level, in consultation with parents, and with support staff. Also, when limited progress has been made towards a measurable goal, despite consistent implementation of interventions and strategies for at least 30 to 60 days. Prevention is the best form of intervention.